Hey y'all, welcome back to my channel. Thank y'all for checking back in with your girl. And today, as you can tell from the title, we're going to be talking about my manifestation journey and how I was able to afford a luxury high-rise apartment, get my dream job, and earn over 100K salary. So let's talk about it. Let's get into the tea. You know what? I think I'm gonna make me a nice little drink, a little club soda, then we come back and do this again, so I can have something to sip because it's gonna get real good. Okay, I'll be right back. Okay, y'all, we are back, and I got my nice drink. So let's get to talking and chatting. Okay, y'all. So like I said, welcome back to my channel. So let's get into how this journey all started for me, where I was in my life, and what was going on at this time when I started my journey to manifesting my dreams and everything that I was desiring and wanting at that time. So I was living in Atlanta, Georgia, and I had been there already for about 4.5 years. I moved out to Atlanta with a friend from college, and I think we stayed together for the first 2 years when we were in Atlanta, and then that third year we decided to go ahead and go our separate ways and move into our own places. So within this place that I had, my townhome that I had in Atlanta, Georgia, I stumbled across a book, and I'm gonna put the name and everything of the book right here. And it was a book written by Esther and Jerry Hicks, and it was the law of attraction, how to attract wealth, health, and happiness. I believe that was the title, but if not, for sure I'm gonna have it here, and I'm gonna also link it down below using my Amazon storefront. So when I read that book, it really opened up my eyes to some things that I've been wanting to know. So I mean, no journey has anything to do with your astrology, but at the end of the day, me being a Gemini, I always have life questions that need answers. Okay, period. That's the best way I can put it. So me coming across this book, it really kind of answered a lot of the questions that I had, and it started my track and my journey to learning and being able to manifest and how to do that in my life in real time. So during this process and reading the book, it was simply well put, if I can just put it kind of slick and easy. It was basically about how you can use your emotions to help you in the process and aid you in the process of manifesting things into your life. So the book really talked about being in a good state of mind, keeping a good energy around you, and things of that nature. So after reading this book, I was walking around like a new person. Okay, like when I say a new person, I mean a new person. I was coming to work, I was just an upbeat spirit, and to be honest, that's me anyway. They call me sunshine at work. So at this time, it was just like I was on double time. I was on overdrive, okay? I was just walking around, keeping an upbeat mood, being happy, being in a spirit, being in an energy of abundance and acceptance, and being grateful. So I think that was one of the first things that I started to do after I read that book. For one, I was trying to encourage everybody around me to read the book. Two, I was making sure that when I got thrown off of what they considered in the book to be when you get thrown off your pivot. So basically it's when you're in a state of gratitude and happiness, and you're basically having a great day, and then one thing can happen, and then it kind of shifts your whole mood for that day. So in the book, it talked about making sure that you always find your pivot again and getting back to your pivot. So throughout the day in the office, if something would happen and it kind of threw me off, I'll be talking to some coworkers, and I'll be like, hey girl, I need to get back on my pivot. It's time for me to get back on my pivot. And you know, everybody joked around and everything, but I was so serious. Like, it was a necessity for me to know how far to take a bad day. You know, if you separate your days out from, you know, the mornings, afternoons, evening, and night, if something happened in the morning, you still shouldn't be upset with that by the evening. You know, you should have let it go at that point, and whatever happens, happens. But you got to know when to let that go and to not hold on to an attitude. And I know that's something that I used to do a lot, which can overall throw you off your pivot. So in the book, it talked about that. For sure, it talked about many more things about how to bring things into your life by speaking affirmations and positive affirmations over your life. So that's kind of where it all started. And then from there, I made a book, and I can show y'all that because I got it with me. Okay, so like I mentioned, I have books to back up everything that I'm saying, so don't be no fool. Your girl is that girl. Okay, so I think it started with this journal here. I bought kind of like a journal, and I just started writing in it every day, different daily affirmations. So this is a list of all affirmations that I was writing with the date as well. And if y'all can see, 12/6/2021, and that seems still a little early. I think I have this one here, which is another journal that I bought. Nope, this is the original one. So this is the original one, y'all, and if y'all can tell from by the date, I don't know why I thought it was 89 instead of 2019. But in 2019 is when I started writing these type of affirmations down. So these affirmations was just, you know, I am strong, I am talented, I am brave, I am fit, I am healthy, I am abundant, I am powerful, I am beautiful. And those were the affirmations that I would write every day. And at first it just started, as y'all can see, with about 6 different ones every day. But it just continued. It went, y'all, I know the paper is, the writing is blue, but if y'all can see, it really just went on and on and on and on. And then it started getting longer. I started changing it to sometimes even writing paragraphs. And then you see now it's like I'm making out a long list of different affirmations. And it goes on for a while. And this is kind of what I was doing just every day. And while in the state, which is really important, while in the state of writing these affirmations, you want to be in a state of gratitude. So every day when I woke up, I would really take a second to myself. I will let go of the social media, checking my phone as soon as I woke up, and I would sit in the window. I will let the sun hit me. I will just sit in front of the window, and I'll just like really feel it and get excited about life and be grateful for where I'm at, you know. And that was my process. I would take in that beginning of the day, I would talk to myself, and I'll just be like, you know, I am so grateful for where I am in my life, etc., etc. That's something that I'll do in the morning when I woke up. By the time I got to work, I'll be writing down these affirmations daily. And this is when I was still in the office before we was COVID, had to stay home. So that was kind of like the first thing I started to do. And I don't want to say the second thing or woo-woo, but this is kind of like the process that it went. Reading that book, The Law of Attraction, Esther Hicks, Jerry Hicks, The Law of Attraction, How to Attract Wealth, Health, and Happiness. Starting to write down daily affirmations and be grateful in the morning, staying away from social media for about an hour of the beginning of the hour of the day that I woke up. Going to the window, just soaking in life and looking out the window and just being grateful for everything that I saw and everything that I seen and where I was at in my life at that moment, right? So after that, I decided to create a mini vision board, and this literally sat on my office desk like this all the time. It sat on my office desk just like this. So anytime when I was in the office, I would sit down and I will see it. Even if I looked at it for 2 seconds, I barely looked at it at all that day. Either way, my subconscious is taking this in every day. And from what y'all can see, it was thank you for 10 million followers. It was wealth turning into health. It was family. It was trust. It was being able to multitask a nice career. It was me. It was a ring, baby. It was a nice little Benz on there. It was love. It was trust. It was a lot of different things on my mini vision board. And that's what I did. And I kept that process up for a long time. As y'all can see, I even switched into a new notebook. Not because I ran out of space with this one, but I believe it was a point where I misplaced this one. But I'm still writing into this currently. As you can see, that date right there says 6/27/22. So I'm still doing this every day, even though I am where I am now. But that's kind of how the process started for me. Now, after, of course, I read the first book, I couldn't help but continue to read and research more and more into what comes next when, you know, all of these things are going on. So another book that I read and I purchased, which is going to also be linked, was The Power of Now. And that book, I'm shooting my YouTube video, world. What's that?
Girl, did you see that picture I just sent you?
Okay, so as I was mentioning, the next book that I read and got into after the first book was The Power of Now. And this book was actually written by a different author, but again, it'll be right here if you all are interested in reading it. And that book tapped so much more into being in the current state, in the most present state, because a lot of people tend to live in the past and or either think too much about the future. So that book talked about how important it is to be in the present moment right now. And I took that book in, and of course, once again, I would really apply what I was reading to my life. No, it wasn't easy, but it's something that with repetition, with consistency, you will be able to remember. And as long as you check yourself along the way, when you're noticing that certain things, like me, when I was getting off of my pivot, to get back on it and to not let certain things affect me, you will keep building this character for yourself, and overall it'll assist you in the process. So after reading the books, of course, more books came, all of this stuff. So I think the next book after The Power of Now was The Power of the Imagination. And this book was pretty good too. And once again, this book gets a little bit more deeper because it's almost a sense of breaking down a Bible to a different meaning. It gives the Bible a different meaning reading from this book. So basically at that point, that's kind of where that's the lineup of how it started. It started from reading a book to gratitude, affirmations daily, gratitude daily, being in the power of now, and keeping and being aware of my attitude and what I brought to other people that were around me. So now I want to tell y'all like what actually transpired during this time when I was doing all of these things, right? Because that's important. People keep calling me.
Sister.
What's up, brother? I am actually filming a YouTube video right now.
Nice. Hey, y'all.
Okay, yeah, right. So hold on. They can't see you that way. Hold on, huh, y'all? Say hey to my brother.
What's up, though?
All right, there you go, y'all. So, what is it? Something important? That was my brother. I was just thinking about talking to him. Okay. So basically, let's talk about what happened when I was using these steps in my life and changing my life and my routine to fit this narrative to be and become this type of person. So when I was in Atlanta, once COVID hit and the pandemic happened, I was working from home, and I was in a 3-bedroom townhouse by myself, and nothing was really going on. So I was just like, why not go home to Chicago? And while in Chicago, I got so comfortable in Chicago, child. I actually moved from Atlanta and didn't let anybody know, and I was just working from Chicago because I really thought, you know, there was really no real thing about coming back into the office. Everybody was working from home. So while working in Atlanta, working in Chicago from home, there starts to be talk surrounded around, you know, going back to work. And your girl don't live in Atlanta anymore. I officially moved back to Chicago at this time. So I knew at that point it was time for me to find another job. So the first job I got, it was pretty good. It was more than what I was making at the time, and you know, it was about, I'm gonna say probably about $10,000 more than what I was making at my current job. So I didn't put that much work into that position because, to be honest, that one kind of found me. I don't think I really looked for that one. So the next job is what changed everything. So at the time, I was actually looking for an apartment in Chicago, downtown Chicago. I had moved into the Airbnb that me and my sister had opened up. So anyway, moved into the Airbnb, and I was there for a while working the job that I left at this point I had left Bank of America in January, and I left Bank of America in January, and I started working at my new job where I was now earning $10,000 more. So a little bit later, I believe sometime in March, my friend from Atlanta, hey Brandy, if you're watching this, she hit me up like, hey girl, I got something for you, and I don't know if you're gonna take it, but listen, it is this, they paying this, and the only thing of it is you gotta move. And I said, girl, send him my way, send the recruiter my way. So I was able to talk to the recruiter. We talked about what I was interested in, and the option at the time was to move to Charlotte. I let them know, like, yep, I'm in Chicago right now, but I do not mind. I will move for a job as long as they talking about that money. And lo and behold, I interviewed for the position sometime in March, right? So at this time, the position that I was interviewing for, they were hiring so many people at the time that it was a long process to hear anything back as far as even if you even got the position. But this is where, after I did the interview, I started talking to my friends, talking to my family, and I was just letting everybody know that I'm moving to Charlotte. So before it was even confirmed, I said I was moving to Charlotte. I was telling all my people, like, yeah, this is what they offering me, this is what I'm being offered, and I'm moving to Charlotte. So at this point now, everybody has an idea in their head, like, oh man, Tiffany is going to be leaving soon, she's going to Charlotte. So that was the first step in how I started to kind of use my mind and the others around me to put that out into the world, to put that out into existence, that I was moving to Charlotte. So that's kind of how I was just living my life at this point. It was, okay, in a minute I'm gonna have to start packing, because I knew, you know, the time frame that they was expecting, and this was March, and they was probably expecting me to be out here in May or late April, and that's kind of where the time frame I gave myself to. They may need me in Charlotte at this point. So you all, during this whole time, I'm just steady, you know, I'm trying to really stand in my belief that I am moving to Charlotte, that this is going to be the life-changing salary that I always wanted and needed, and this is how my life is about to go. So I started looking for apartments. That was the next major thing I started to do immediately after I did the interview. I started looking for apartments. So every day I will try to search and find an apartment that I like, and once I found a building that I really loved, an apartment that I really liked, I actually left that apartment up on my screensaver, not on my screensaver, I'm sorry, in my web browser. I just left it up. So anytime I will open up my MacBook and I'll be going through different tabs, that apartment's homepage will always be up on my MacBook. And once again, it was kind of like the same way with my vision board that I had sitting on my desk when I was working at Bank of America. It was kind of like that. Even though it's in my subconscious, it's still around me, it's still near me, I'm still seeing it, but you know, this is where I want to stay, so let me keep it up here. So months go by, like, you know, I interviewed in March, April went by, you know, I didn't hear anything. The middle of April came, the middle of the end of April came, and still I really didn't hear much. So of course in that time you will probably start being discouraged and everything, but that's the difference with manifestation and affirming different things into your life. You cannot waver in where you stand when it comes to manifesting. You have to stand strong and consistent and boldly and proudly. You have to declare and decree that this is going to happen in your life. And it really is about faith. And I want to make sure that that's really important. It's about faith. It's about believing before it even happens. It's the ultimate definition of faith. So in that moment, you know, as these times is ticking, I'm steady telling people like, yeah, I'm finna leave. And at this point they're like, okay, when you leaving? And I'm probably in about 2 weeks, probably in about 2.5 weeks. I always would just say 2 weeks, 2 weeks, 2.5 weeks, 2.5 weeks. Oh, still not hearing no call, getting anything back from the job. My recruiter will hit me up every once in a while and be like, hey, don't worry, hang in there. And every now and then he'll kind of sprinkle a little good news and say, hey, you know, if you get this, you know, that may be a good sign. Hey, did you get this? That could be a good sign. And I'll respond and be like, hey, I actually did get this. So each time I also got that type of affirmation, it also just kept pushing me and inspiring me to keep standing and not waver in what I felt. So at this point now, I think at this point it was around the middle of April that I decided to visit Charlotte. Never been to Charlotte in my whole life. I've never been to North Carolina in my entire life. I lived in Georgia and Atlanta, which is, kind of find out, only about 3.5 hours away from Charlotte, but never visited. So at this point I said, you know what, I'm coming to Charlotte. If I want to make something happen for myself, let me go out here and see apartments. Let me go get my feet wet. Let me see how it feels to live here and be in the energy of Charlotte. So me and my sister, my little sister, I took her with me. We ended up coming here to Charlotte. We spent about 3 to 4 days here just sightseeing and looking at apartments. And I actually came and looked at the apartment that I love today. So it was a little rough actually trying to see this apartment when I first got here, but it all worked out. And this was actually the last apartment showing that I had while in Charlotte, because I had planned other things out, other apartment tours, but this one was, like I said, it was a little difficult trying to get in. So they were able to squeeze me in. I believe it was either the day before I was supposed to leave or the same day that I was supposed to leave to go home to Chicago. So I was able to see the city and I enjoyed it, and it felt really good being here and all of that good stuff. At this point, I get back home to Chicago, and literally 2 days later after my visit from Charlotte, I got the call that I got the job. So life changing. And to be honest, what I tell my sisters and my best friends is that I feel like me coming here kind of sped up that process of getting a confirmation about the job. I really came out here on faith, and I actually looked at it like, hey, you know, regardless of what happened, this is still a place I never visited. So I mean, it will never be like a disappointment that, hey, I came to Charlotte and I did this and I did that and I spent this money but nothing came of it. No, it was still an experience, and that's how I looked at it. Like, regardless of what happens, it's still an experience, and it's still a good moment, and it's still, you know, it's still fun to do travel. Who doesn't like to travel? So yeah. So after that, y'all, it was really just easy peasy literally from there. Do you hear me? Packed up all my things in Chicago, took what I could in my car, and my mother drove with me about 11 and a half hours to Charlotte. And this is how I got here. Now, some disclaimers, because I don't want it to come off as if only thing you have to do is affirm and be consistent and believe and have faith and don't waver. Although all of that is true, I stand by everything I just said. It still takes you to put in the work. I wasn't at Bank of America just because I was okay at doing a good job. At Bank of America, I excelled in my role. I did things that put me in other positions at Bank of America to be a great candidate for the position that I had applied for. I had good connections with people. I had people who could vouch for my experience, for my work ethic. So I want you all to know that it does matter what you do behind the scenes to get you to where you want to go. Okay, y'all, so I think it's important that we talk about what manifestation is, or just to clarify, manifestation as a definition. So the definition that I found was to display or show a quality or feeling by one's acts or appearance demonstrate. So I think they definitely work better hand in hand when you put an action with a feeling. It is so true, it is so real, and it works. So that's a little definition for manifest. If you were a little lost on what it actually, like what the definition actually means, like what the word actually means, manifest. So it's when you put an act or a feeling or even an appearance, like they said, behind something. So for instance, let's say I want to be rich. Okay, everybody wants some money, everybody wants some coins. I want to be wealthy, right? So in a sense, you would move in a way that a wealthy and rich person would. You get what I'm saying? So would a rich person be walking around not really kept up? Would they be walking around kind of, like not showering, not taking care of oneself, not showing oneself love, right? No, a rich person is going to be taking themselves out to dinner. Okay, they're going to be saving, they're going to be investing, they're going to be doing certain things and exhibiting certain behaviors. So the way you can manifest being rich without being rich first in your life could be something so small. It could just be getting that cupcake that you wanted from the bakery and not kind of skipping yourself on a cupcake because it's like, oh my god, it's a cupcake and da 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 da. No, you enjoy in life treasures, you enjoy what life has to offer. So that's how you can start small. And I'm telling you, sometimes it just be the small changes. It doesn't have to be a grand gesture. You know what I'm saying? You don't got to be out here swiping. No, be smart, baby. Think about it. Think about what you do. But I'm telling you, it's small ways to achieve certain things that will put you in that timeline, put you on that in that timeline, or get you to that same frequency. For instance, I want to be rich, right? I want to be rich. I want to be wealthy, right? Let's say you start with, I'm starting with a $40,000 salary, right? But I know wealthy, you're really not wealthy depending on where you stay. And let's say I was in Chicago, unless you're making, let's say $126,000 a year. Right now I'm making 40. So I can't just jump into a $126,000 frequency or timeline. You have to do that gradually. So what does that look like gradually? It looks like I said, doing some of the little things first, making sure that you're enjoying life and what it offers, being grateful for making the 40,000 now, and repeating to yourself consistently and daily that more is coming. Like, I'm so abundant now, and I'm so excited for what's coming, what's here, what's arrived. And something else I would suggest is, of course, doing other small things. Just making sure that you are, still treating yourself, but still staying in a budget that fits where you are in your life at that time. And then, of course, it could be, if you want to make more money, maybe changing jobs, changing different careers, whatever that looks like, to put you in a more closer tax bracket to the $126,000 a year. So it could be something like that kind of gradually gets you there. But you can't jump from here to here without doing something in between to get you here that's going to align you with that. And I hope that makes sense. But okay, that's kind of like how I can explain that. For me, in the situation that I told you would be when I took that gesture. Now, even though it was a grand gesture, it really wasn't, because I was able to do that without sacrificing anything. I was able to make that trip to Charlotte without, going broke or anything like that. So even though that was a grand gesture of me affirming what was going to happen in my life, that's something that I did to get me here. You get what I'm saying? I'm living in Chicago and I want to move to Charlotte. Well, you can't up and move to Charlotte, but I could have did that. That would have been the grandest gesture. But instead, I opted to visit. That was kind of like right in the middle. You know what I'm saying? So it's something like that. So definitely think about it for your situation. But baby, don't say I had y'all out here doing stuff that y'all wasn't ready to do. No, okay? Okay, so another definition that I want to give y'all is an affirmation definition. So a definition for affirmation or affirm: the action or process of affirming something or being affirmed. So I mean, I think that's really as simple as it is. It's affirming something daily. And the way I do it in my own writing and how I do it daily is I say, I am rich, I am wealthy, I am healthy. And while I'm writing these things, get the feeling of what that feels like. You get what I'm saying? Get the feeling. Feel what that feels like to have everything that you want in that moment, even though you don't have it. Right? Just sit in that energy and write these things down. Speak these things while you're doing it. Dance while you're doing it. Like the definition says for manifest, it's the appearance, it's the feeling. Okay? You got to do that. You got to do that. You got to move and say, you know, I am wealthy, I am healthy, whatever it takes. You know, if it's even in a mantra. And a mantra me and my sister used to do all the time, ching, ching, ching goes the money tree. And every time I ching, money comes to me. From the top to the right and up under me. Money flows to me so abundantly. Wave, 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 mama, money wave. Money flow, money made. Flowing in and out plus money saved. Debt, all debt is paid. And we got that from off of TikTok, if I can link the video. But that's kind of like a mantra that we will say every time if something good happened, you know, we want more abundance. That's how we're speaking. That's how we're talking. You know, so just make sure you're doing these things daily, and then you're putting the action, the appearance, the feeling, and then try to imagine these things as well. The Power of Imagination is a good book that talks about, you know, like the power that you hold when you close your eyes and you can see certain things for yourself, when you can see yourself driving in that new Benz that you want. You know, it's really important to be able to imagine these things, because what you can picture in your mind, it can come true. It can come to you. And I am really living proof, and I've been wanting to make this video so long because it is real truth. It is no game, it is no gimmicks. Y'all see the work. Y'all see the work that I did in these books, and I was doing it since 2019. It is 2022. It's gonna be 2023, y'all. And I came a long way in my life. I came from a background in Chicago, being on the south side. I literally came from the hood, and that's not to brag or put anybody down, but it's to say that anybody can do it. You can do it, okay? You just gotta put the work in. Nothing comes to somebody who sleeps, to somebody who's lazy, to somebody who is not into putting in the work. I put in the work, and the book shows it, y'all. I was doing this. This is still something that I do to this day, because I am not done yet. Okay, I am not done. I am definitely grateful for everything I've achieved in my life, for where I am in my life, but I also know that there's so much more that I can do and put out and give back to the world. And this video is just a reminder to everybody that it can happen for you, just like it happened to me. Okay, I'm making over 100K a year, bonuses. I'm living in a high-rise downtown Charlotte, you know, dream car coming soon, but I'm not in a rush either. You know, I'm so happy that I don't have to be in a rush for these things right now, you know. And on my vision board, y'all saw it, a ring, maybe, you know. You know, whatever is for me is for me, and that's something that I want to let you know as well. What is for you is for you, and it will never miss you. It will never skip over you. It is always for you. It's just in the divine timing, and divine timing is just that. Whatever happens in divine timing, it is meant to happen in that way. You know, I know you can get discouraged, of course, from social media, seeing people and what they have, and you feel like you're supposed to be there, or why aren't you there, or why isn't it me? I'm telling you, it's just because it's just not your time yet. But if you're doing what you're supposed to do in the meantime, you're gonna be ready for what's to come. God cannot bless a mess at all. He will not bless a mess. He will not bless laziness. He will not bless somebody who is not healing themselves to get what they want, removing themselves from certain situations, knowing their worth. Y'all, it takes time. It takes time. And all during this era of me manifesting and affirming things into my life and pulling things to me that I I believe I deserve is because at this point in my life, I know I deserve it. I know I'm worthy of these things. And what I do also reflects it, okay? I don't put people around me who are not on my same wavelength. I don't keep those people around me. I don't like things, you know, going on. I don't allow certain things to go on around me. I don't be around certain people. I don't do certain things because that's not where I am aligned. That's not where my energy is aligned at. Okay, my frequency is here. I'm vibrating here. So I won't be around mess that's here and energies that's here because I'm not going to get blessed around that. Okay, so that's that. But I will do a part 2 to this video if that's something that y'all would want to see. I don't know, maybe go a little bit deeper into certain aspects and parts of it, but y'all, I'm not gonna say it's easy or it's simple because sometimes consistency is something that people have to get over. Consistency is something that a lot of people struggle with. Motivation is something that a lot of people struggle with, and I think for sure for me, I had to come up out of that and be consistent because I deserve a consistent me. I deserve somebody who's gonna take care of their self and do all of these things. So in the book I'm writing, I'm healthy, I'm fit. Well, what am I doing to affirm those things? Am I still eating crazy? Am I still, you know, drinking all willy-nilly? Am I not taking care of my health? Like, what am I doing? So to combat that, to follow up with, I am healthy, I am fit, I go to the gym. You get what I'm saying? It's a balance. You have to do both. You can affirm these things, but you also have to put action behind it. Action, imagination, feeling. You have to have it. Okay? So thank y'all so much for tuning into this video, and I wish you all the most grace and just a good journey. We all are moving towards the same thing and wanting the same thing. So I hope this video finds you well, and I hope by the time you end up watching this video, it sparks something in you, so you know that you can start today. You can start today. Okay, I love y'all, and thank y'all so much for coming to my TED Talk, bitch. But now, thank y'all so much, and I'll see y'all in my next video. Bye, y'all.